You know what they say, man? Happily ever afters don't exist, and I firmly disagree with that. Happily ever afters do exist, and especially in Demetrious Johnson's case. You know, the guy left the UFC because he felt underappreciated. The guy was the dominant champion of his weight class for how many defenses? Never really got the pay-per-view points, as according to him. Just undervalued by the organization overall. So he said, you know what, I'm going to move on. And it happens all the time in day-to-day life, just with us normal everyday people, not necessarily on an MMA basis, but you get undervalued by a company you're working for, or you're not being appreciated by a friend. Your group of friends is toxic, and you think, should I stay? Is it going to get better, or should I move on and find something better? And usually when you move on and find something better, it sticks better. And one kind of took care of Mighty Mouse Johnson way better than the UFC ever did. And the UFC kind of fumbled the bag on this one. I think Mighty Mouse was way more marketable than they wanted to give him credit. And now Flyweight's in this kind of odd predicament where they can't seem to stick with a marketable face to be the head of the division. They're keeping it going, obviously, thanks to Henry Cejudo. I mean, Henry, I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say about him and a lot of criticisms. That guy did save the Flyweight division from TJ Dillashaw. Okay, so you know what? I think that was a really good time, and we still have Flyweight, because although a lot of people don't like it, I still appreciate it for what it is. It's not the most popular thing in the world, but it is getting more people worth checking out. I think we had given the division time to grow, and we're seeing what it is. But back to Mighty Mouse, he caught adversity and won. He kind of had some trouble over there, and he did catch challenges. He did have that trilogy. He came out on a good end on that one. And now he's just gaming and training and living the MMA life while gaming and streaming. And you know what? Good for him. A lot of people who work hard follow their passion. I mean, this is a more sentimental video than anything. But seeing how it could be done, how a guy could come from practically nothing and build himself into something, and not like find a happily ever after, but find what should be the happily ever after, the UFC championship, and then continue to battle adversity as you're the flyweight champion, continue getting, discredited by Dana White, having to face those battles, and those battles are out in public. And I like this because there's always this false narrative that once you get your first gigantic win, credits roll. No, they don't show what happens after. Like the Karate Kid movie, right? Karate Kid Part 2, it picks up right off, and then there's a whole new set of issues, right? And with Demetrious Johnson, it's like we got that never-ending movie that never had the credits roll, but it just showed stages of his career, of his life. And I don't really think he's going to be in any controversies anytime soon. He's such a wholesome, smiley dude who could, end you with his bare hands that I think he's going to ride off into the sunset finally. And now that he is in the Hall of Fame of one, like he deserves, and he was more than happy to lay it in the octagon at the right time, on good terms, on top, with his health intact for as long as he's been going. It was heartwarming to finally see that final hurrah to this thing, because not a lot of people get to go that long. Not a lot of people retire on top. In Anderson Silva's case, he was on top until he wasn't anymore, and then he lost a lot of fights. But not Mighty Mouse. He kept it going like probably just as long as Anderson Silva, if not longer. And he didn't have any Jake Paul boxing matches where it kind of showed what happens to a fighter where it gets older or anything. And I think that's a good thing, because he has that perfect image of somebody who truly had GOAT status. And the UFC really fumbled the bag with this guy. So, Demetrious Johnson, by any chance, on the off chance that you come across this video, thank you for everything. I was watching your fights since before I actually started training martial arts myself, and the fights that you put on, inspired me to get my life together and inspire me to try new things and inspire me to, do things. Not just you. Obviously, Tony Ferguson is up next in that category. Actually, he's first. But Demetrious Johnson, he was one of the guys I kind of felt like not a lot of people gave him a whole lot of buzz when I was like that dude that was just sitting there watching the fights. But seeing guys like that and do their dreams and do it the right way and be a true man, not necessarily a man who is cruel to the world, but a man who's got values and who's got responsibilities and who has puts himself to this standard and keeps on it. It inspired me to turn my life around and hold my life to a higher standard. And not necessarily, I'm not on Demetrious Johnson's level by a long shot, but I'm on a higher level than I used to be. So thank you, Demetrious. Peace out and enjoy the rest of your life. You've earned it, buddy.